There are places on our planet that have lost their voice. Once, these places echoed with the sounds of life, but now, only silence remains, a silence that speaks volumes about what has been lost. High in the remote peaks, a mountain once sang with the rustle of leaves and the calls of birds. The air was alive with the flutter of wings and the gentle hum of insects, weaving a tapestry of sound that filled the valleys and forests. Now, it stands silent, its slopes bare and gray, the wind howling across empty rock. The vibrant chorus that once defined this place has faded, replaced by a hollow, echoing quiet. Life has retreated, leaving a stark, lonely landscape. The mountain spirit seems to have vanished, leaving behind only memories etched into stone and soil. The streams are dry, the soil washed away, and only stone and gravel remain. Where water once danced down the slopes, there is now only the harsh sound of wind scraping over rock. The sun bakes the ground, making it impossible for seeds to take root. The earth is parched and cracked, offering no shelter or nourishment for new life to begin. This is not a place of life, but a monument to what has been lost. The mountain stands as a silent witness to the passing of time and the disappearance of its once thriving ecosystem. The silence is haunting. No insects, no birds, no animals. The absence of even the smallest creatures is a reminder of how fragile life can be when the balance is disturbed. The mountain is a desert in the clouds, isolated and empty. Once a sanctuary for countless species, it now feels distant and unreachable, a world apart from the life below. People in the valley remember when it was green and abundant. They recall the days when the mountain provided shade, water, and food, and when its forests were a source of pride and sustenance. Now, they look up with heavy hearts, wondering if its vibrant past is gone forever. The loss is not just ecological, but deeply personal, a wound that lingers in the memories of those who once called it home. Nature's balance has been broken, the chain of life shattered. Each missing link weakens the whole, and the mountain's story becomes one of loss and warning. Without plants, there are no insects. Without insects, no birds. Without soil, no plants. The cycle that once sustained life here has been interrupted, leaving emptiness in its wake. The mountain is trapped in a cycle of decay, growing more barren each season. With every passing year, the scars deepen, and the hope for recovery fades a little more. It stands as a solemn warning, a silent testament to the consequences of losing our connection with the natural world. The mountain's silence is a message, urging us to remember what is at stake. The intricate systems that sustain life here have unraveled. What was once a thriving web of life is now a fragile remnant, teetering on the edge of disappearance. The mountain waits, holding its breath, for something to change. In its silence there is a plea, a hope that one day, life might return, and the mountain's song will be heard once more. Why was this mountain dying? What had brought such devastation to a place that once teemed with life and color? The answer lies in the ground beneath our feet, in the very earth that supports all living things here. For years, the forests were cleared, stripping away the trees that anchored the soil. The relentless removal of trees left the land bare and exposed, with nothing to shield it from the elements. Without roots to hold it, the soil was left exposed and vulnerable. The wind and rain could now reach the earth directly, loosening and carrying it away. Gentle rains became destructive, washing away the precious topsoil. What once nourished plants now flowed away in muddy streams. This is erosion, the slow vanishing of the mountain's life. Each storm, each season, took a little more, leaving the land weaker than before. Soil is more than dirt, it's a living community, rich with nutrients and organisms. It's the foundation for forests, grasslands, and all the creatures that depend on them. Without it, seeds can't sprout and plants can't grow. The cycle of life is broken, and the land becomes barren. The few hardy plants that survived were weak, unable to protect the land. Their roots were too shallow to hold the soil in place. Each year, more soil washed away, making the slopes steeper and more unstable. The mountain's very shape began to change. Its strength eroded bit by bit. Landslides scarred the mountain and threatened the valley below. Homes, farms, and entire communities lived in fear of the next disaster. Rivers turned brown with sediment, smothering life in the streams. Fish and insects struggled to survive in the murky water. The mountain's sickness spread, affecting everything around it. The damage reached far beyond the slopes, touching every part of the ecosystem. The cycle seemed unbreakable. No plants, no soil, no plants. The land was trapped in a downward spiral. The vibrant green of life was replaced by dull gray stone. The mountain's spirit seemed to fade with every passing year. The land had lost its ability to heal. It was exhausted, depleted, and silent. It needed help, a new beginning, a spark of hope, a chance to restore what was lost. The people watching this slow decay knew they had to act, even if the challenge seemed immense. They understood that the future of the mountain and their own lives depended on what they did next. In the valley, the people were shepherds, their lives shaped by the rhythm of the land and the gentle presence of their flocks. For as long as anyone could remember, sheep had been at the heart of their community, providing wool, companionship, and a sense of purpose. Families worked side by side, passing down traditions and stories, living alongside their flocks for generations. The bond between people and sheep was woven into every aspect of daily life, from sunrise to sunset. But times had changed. Recently, wool had lost its value, leaving them with piles of unwanted fleece. The once precious resource now seemed like a burden, gathering dust in barns and fields. The shepherds gathered, troubled by the waste. What if, they wondered, this wool could help the mountain heal? Could something discarded become a force for renewal? Wool is warm, absorbent, and holds water like a sponge. Its natural properties, once prized for clothing, could perhaps serve the land in a new way. Could it become a protective blanket for the land, shielding fragile soil from harsh winds and scorching sun? The idea was met with skepticism. Some doubted it would work. Others feared it was just wishful thinking. But the community felt a responsibility to try, united by a shared hope for their home. They decided to experiment, turning waste into a tool for restoration. With determination, they carried wool to the barren hillsides, ready to see if their idea could take root. The wool would cover the bare ground, creating a soft layer where nothing else would grow. It would shield the earth from the relentless sun and pounding rain, protecting the soil beneath from erosion and loss. The wool would hold precious moisture, creating a safe haven for seeds to sprout and take hold, even in the harshest conditions. As it decomposed, it would release nutrients back into the earth, feeding the soil and supporting new life. It was a plan to mimic nature, creating a nurturing layer for life to begin anew, just as fallen leaves do in a forest. The community's hope was simple: give the mountain a chance to heal, and perhaps in doing so, heal themselves as well. They prepared to act, driven by ingenuity, resilience, and a deep connection to their land, a land they were determined to restore for future generations. The work began. Men, women, and children hauling wool up the mountain. They spread thick mats of fleece across the most eroded slopes, anchoring them with rocks and pegs. The mountain, once gray, was now patched with creamy white wool. The wool acted as a barrier, stopping erosion and absorbing rainwater. Seeds of native grasses and wildflowers were scattered among the fibers. The community transformed a problem, excess wool, into a solution. They clothed the mountain, offering it shelter and a chance to recover. Now, they waited, trusting in nature and their own hard work. Would life return to the silent mountain? A year passed, the seasons turned, and the community watched. The woolen blanket had stopped erosion and kept the ground moist. Beneath the fleece, the soil was dark and alive again. Slowly, the first green shoots appeared, tiny grasses and wildflowers pushing through the wool. Where there was only rock and dust, a faint green haze emerged. These pioneer plants were the first whispers of a returning song. The wool began to decompose, releasing nutrients into the soil. The roots of young plants wove through the earth and fleece, holding the mountainside together. By year's end, the white wool was streaked with green. The mountain looked less wounded, the air fresher, the silence broken by the rustle of new leaves. It was a quiet beginning, but a profound victory for the people. Their faith was being rewarded. The mountain was beginning to breathe again. Life, once lost, was returning. The transformation had begun. 2 years later, the change was unmistakable. Lush meadows and wildflowers covered the slopes, hiding the wool beneath. Deep roots anchored the soil, creating a stable foundation for a new ecosystem. With plants came insects, then birds, and soon small mammals and predators. The web of life was reweaving itself. The water cycle was restored, streams flowed clear, and rivers in the valley revived. Fish returned, and the entire watershed benefited. The mountain was no longer a source of problems, but of life. The community rejoiced, walking the slopes with pride. Children played in wildflower fields, and shepherds saw their sheep graze on lush pastures. The mountain's song had returned, a symphony of life. It was a complete and beautiful rebirth. Why was sheep wool so effective? Its secret lies in its natural properties. Wool fibers absorb water, up to 30% of their weight, acting like a giant sponge. This kept the soil moist, perfect for seeds to sprout. Wool also insulates, protecting the ground from extreme temperatures. It shields the soil from heat and cold, creating a stable environment for young plants. As wool decomposes, it releases nitrogen and nutrients, acting as a slow-release fertilizer. The wool was not just a cover, but a source of food for the recovering ecosystem. It provided protection, moisture, warmth, and nourishment. A simple, natural material became a powerful solution to a complex problem. The wool helped the mountain heal itself from within. The success of this project has sent a message of hope across the globe. It shows that innovative, low-cost solutions can be found in unexpected places. This story is a blueprint for other regions facing desertification and erosion. Many places have both degraded land and wool-producing animals. The wool, often seen as waste, can be repurposed for restoration. This method is simple, accessible, and relies on local resources and community effort. It doesn't require expensive technology. Just nature and people working together. Empowering communities to heal their land creates ownership and lasting change. What we see as waste might be a solution waiting to be discovered. The story encourages us to look at our resources differently and imagine new ways to restore our world. The wool-covered mountain is a story of hope. It proves that even broken ecosystems can recover with a helping hand. Nature is resilient. If we give it a chance, it will heal. This transformation was achieved by ordinary people, united by love for their land. It shows the power of collective action and local solutions. Every act of restoration, no matter how small, helps heal our planet. The future depends on communities taking responsibility for their own corner of the earth. Let this mountain stand as a promise. With ingenuity and cooperation, we can mend what's broken. It's a symbol of a new partnership between humanity and nature. The silent mountain that learned to sing again reminds us that hope and action can create a vibrant world for generations to come.